So let's talk possibilities. If you know the 10 possibility areas as a coach, you can obviously ask questions out loud. But I want to talk specifically about when you might be helping somebody to do some thinking about possibilities using a bubble diagram. So, familiar with bubble diagrams, you can download these, print them off. You've got the 10 possibility areas randomly placed there. A couple of little tips that I want to give you about using a bubble diagram thing. One is, use a bubble diagram only when you've got a SMART goal or a qualitative goal. And actually write it along the top there, or the person that you're coaching, get them to write it there. And then what I would normally do is go for a fast 5 minutes. Just say to the person, here you go, just write round all of those, as many possibilities as you can. And give the person guidance that to write down absolutely anything that comes into their mind. Even if it seems a little bit ridiculous or silly at the time there, just capture it down and reassure them that after we've done the ideas part, we'll do the prioritising part. Okay? So just get them into the mindset of writing as many things down as you can. Once a person has used a bubble diagram once and likes it, it's a great tool for them to carry on using, and you don't even need to be there as a coach. If you haven't got much time, or time is running out in a session, you can always show a person how to use a bubble diagram and then say, let's get back together at a later time, or maybe by telephone, once you've done some possibility thinking. The other thing that I also like to do if I'm using bubble diagrams in a group, and this is great if you're, say, like coaching a community group, is to brief out how it works, get everybody to write the same clearly defined goal along the top. But then in the top corner here, just write a number that they believe that they will achieve in the next 5 minutes. And make sure that that number's over 20, by the way. So I would normally go around the room and say, you know, how many have you got? 30, 40. If somebody says 10 or something lower, they really haven't got the idea of possibility thinking. Because 10 in, 5 minutes is 30 seconds. You can virtually have a sleep in between each idea. So you need to kind of like just give them a little bit of self-belief that they will come up with at least 20. Now the average that people do when they use this the first time is 30. So obviously some people get less than 30, some people get many more than 30, but the most that I've ever seen a person do in 5 minutes is 99. And they were going like this. Their head was about this far from the table, and they were just writing down as fast as they could like this. And it was actually a woman that worked in an IT department in Sydney, Australia. And I was running a training course where this was happening. And she said she got 99. The guy next to her, who was a work colleague, had actually got 30-something. So she'd got about 3 times what he'd got. And he looked over at a sheet and he grabbed it. And out of it came 2 words jumped out at him, and it said, ham and eggs. And he could see that it was an IT-related project. And he said to her, what on earth have you done writing ham and eggs down there? She says, well, Andy, because I was running the course, she says, Andy said I had to write everything down that I thought of. She goes, and it counts as 2 possibilities. Now, it's very rare that you will get people that understand the true meaning of possibility thinking, where anything goes for a period of time. So just showing them how to use this and encouraging them is really important. The other tip that I would give you about using bubble diagrams is to encourage people not to throw them away. Because when you get into prioritising, and that maybe they highlight or circle or underline things, it might not be a priority today. But in 2 weeks' time or a month, depending on the size of the goal, they might look at that sheet and go, well, actually, it was just an idea then, but I will involve that person now. Because they've invested some time in doing possibility thinking, it's really useful to keep all of those bubble diagram sheets. Okay. Here is version 2. You'll see it's a different sort of bubble diagram. In other words, it hasn't got any of the 10 possibility areas on it. And this is a tool that you can use to get people to design their own questions. And it relates to key issues. So what you could do, let's suppose that we're working on a particular project with somebody, You can ask them what are all the key issues they face, and they might say, well, time, or they might say money or resources. And you put that there and just turn it into a possibility based question, like what could you possibly do to overcome that issue, or how could you possibly find the resources or funding for it. Turn them into possibility based questions that are based on their key issues, and then get them to write it out in exactly the same way as using the other bubble diagram. That can be particularly powerful when you're working with a team of people in the community. Maybe it's a charity or a small group, and they're telling you about all their issues or problems. I'll just make a list of them. Get people then to, you don't even have to have a bubble diagram, do you? Blank sheet of paper, write it down, you tell them the question, because you'll have to design the question for them, draw a bubble around it, and then write as many answers down to it. Okay, and if everybody's working on the same goal, with the same questions, relating to those key issues, that can be really, really powerful. Okay. That's all I want to say about bubble diagrams. Practice using them yourselves. Have a few always on you, whether it be in your handbag, your pocket or whatever. Very valuable tool.